Hello and welcome back to my channel. Here we go. We are finally doing this. We got the DC films. I'm gonna put 13. I think there's like maybe 15 total, but I'm gonna put 13. I'm not gonna include the Justice League, the first one with the Josh. I forget what it was. I'm gonna just involve the Snyder Cut because those two movies are basically the same thing. But the two Suicide Squads, I'm gonna do both of those because those are like completely different movie. I mean, some of the same characters, but different villains and everything. So I'm gonna include those two. So this list. This is my list. My favorite ones, like from top to bottom. I'm still not 100%. Maybe the 1 and 2 I'm 100% sure on, but I could flip any of these movies around. You might have different views on the movies. You might agree with me on some, but if you're free to get mad at me in the comments. It's fine. We all have different opinions. Let's get right into this. Number 13, we got the last place. We have the Suicide Squad, the first one. Now, this movie is quite a lot in it. It's very, very messy. I don't even remember. I know there's an Enchantress. I know her. She's very weird. She was, how she was creating those zombified guys. That's pretty weird. I don't even remember what the one her brother's name is. Like that big dude. If you asked me what his name was, I would have no clue. I'd have to look that up. The good parts about that movie is Deadshot, and we got Will Smith in that. He was pretty good in that. You got Harley Quinn. She was pretty. I liked her in that one. You got Rick Flag. It's very different from the next Suicide Squad. You know, like the premise of the movie is you got these all these bad guys and Amanda Waller. She wants to set up this super team of criminals, and then they like implant bombs on the necks. So that's kind of what they are, and they're supposed to go and fight Enchantress. She's like a witch, and she takes over the host body and everything. And Rick Flag has like a relationship with her. I don't remember what the regular lady was. I know she found like that one artifact in like a cave or something like that. But then she has like her brother. Her brother comes in. The end fight is all big CGI mess. I mean, I like the one when the El Diablo he fought the brother. That was a cool scene. But the only good part was like Deadshot, of course. I think Will Smith played him pretty well. Not a movie I would probably. Might watch it, but it's not something I would be like, oh, I see this, I want to watch this. Some of the other movies in this list. Then the one right below it, number 12, we got the Wonder Woman 1984. Very different from the Wonder Woman, the first one. I didn't mind the introduction of Steve Trevor coming back, and them I like the relationship and Diana being able to see him again. And I've only watched this movie twice, and before watching it the second time, I totally forgot what the premise of the story was, who was the villain. I mean, I knew the cheetah was in there, but I remember watching it the first time, I was still very confused on it. Like the villain, the Maximum Lord. I don't even remember it now. He's given wishes, this artifact, and he becomes like a wish giver. That wasn't too interesting. I didn't really care for the Barbara storyline, her becoming cheetah. It was kind of interesting to see Steve again, and he's back here, and he's in 1984, and he's seeing all these future stuff, and he's having such a great time exploring the city. That would be pretty cool. Kind of like how Deanna was in the first one, where she was stuck on this island for thousands of years, and she goes to the modern world, and she gets to see all these new things. Diana does her stuff in this movie, but she's slowly losing her powers, and she has to eventually give up having Steve back regain her powers, and she has to kind of let go of that. And okay, now we got the next one down. We got number 11, I believe it is. We got Batman vs Superman. Okay, the very mess movie. Lots of characters, and then we got Batman. We got Wonder Woman. She shows up. We got Superman, of course. We got those two fighting. Then we got Lex Luthor on top of that. Then we got Doomsday on top of that, who comes in the end. We have this big fight, and of course it ends up with the Superman dying. That's kind of like the storyline where Doomsday comes in and he ends up killing them. The whole Batman like facing Superman, feel like that fight between them could have been solved with one simple conversation they could have had, but they both kind of just hate each other. In this movie, there's lots of questions of Superman, like if he went rogue, if how we should stop him. Should Superman be really doing these things, or should he just be leaving this alone? And all the destruction that he's caused, like with General Zod, but that Metropolis was absolutely destroyed in that one. Everywhere he fights, he caused lots of destruction. That's this type of, because that's how powerful he is. He's like a god to these humans. And of course, you got that one scene where I like the fight between the two. You know, Superman obviously was holding back in the beginning. We see him like with a light touch, he sends Batman flying. If I was Superman, I would just be spamming my laser vision or my freeze breath. Just that's a long distance. You're not gonna win one-on-one fist fight against Batman. And of course, Superman didn't know about the kryptonite, so that kind of makes an even match between the two. And Batman, of course, is gonna win against hand-to-hand combat. I'm sure if Superman fought him again, he would come with a different game plan. Not get hit by kryptonite. That's like always. Like the get out of jail free card for anyone who wants to fight Superman is just to print some kryptonite. And then as for the villains, you got like the Lex Luthor. I mean, Lex is always pretty evil. He's always got these evil masterful plans. He wants to take down Superman. He's using Batman to kill Superman. He's using Superman to try and kill Batman. He's kidnaps Martha and everything. And he creates Doomsday somehow. He uses like Zod's body or something in the ship, and then you got Doomsday, and then we got all the Batman and Superman one-on-one there teaming up against Doomsday to get him. Then that kryptonite spear comes into play. They somehow find kryptonite. Looks Luthor has some. Then I think Batman takes it, and then he creates all these weapons to fight Superman. And lots of people don't like this movie, and there's lots of reasons why. But I can see that it's definitely. They did a lot of stuff, and they didn't really hit it home with many people. They could have made this a really good. Like I said, they could have made this like a really interesting movie. But they kind of just went wrong with some things. Okay, well, the next one we got number 10 for sure. We got Shazam: Fury of the Gods. I just recently watched this one. I didn't go and see it in movie theaters or anything. I just waited for it to come on HBO. I'm pretty sure. We got the villains. We got the three sisters, and they're trying. I don't even remember what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring back Kronos or something like that. They have the stick. We got Shazam and his family and all his brothers and sisters. They're now Shazam, and they're trying to work together. They all got different types of lives. I like the relationship between Freddy and Billy. Like that. It's nice to have a friend like Freddy there who knows all these superhero facts and villains. One thing in this movie is the difference between the Shazam, like as an adult, and Billy. Like the two actors, they feel completely different. The adult version, he's way more like childish than the Billy we have. So it's kind of weird when he switches back and forth. They don't switch back and forth too many times with them. It's mainly Zachary Levi as Shazam, like the whole time. I like that he was able to handle himself most of the time against the witches. He was getting tossed around a few times, but he was able to get back up and use his speed. I didn't really like having the dragon, them having to fight a big dragon. I thought they could have just had them fight the witches instead of the witches just be on a dragon, and then this dragon be super powerful and just have to take on Shazam. Then we got Wonder Woman who shows up at the very end. Where at the Shazam's grave scene, she has to show up and she has to like reattach the stick or something. We got the old wizard guy. He gets imprisoned. He was pretty funny. Him and Freddy were funny together. He was constantly getting Freddy's name wrong. The main reason why I have this Shazam Fury of the Gods below the original Shazam is the Shazam has a better story, and the villain he's a lot bit more memorable. So, and that brings us to the next movie, number 9. We got Shazam. Now this one, I love the story about Billy and becoming a superhero. He's not this kid genius scientist guy. He's just a normal kid, and he makes mistakes like anyone else. He's lucky to have Freddy. He's lucky he goes ahead. He finally finds a family that he wants to eventually stick around. He's one of his journeys. He's trying to find his mom. He ends up finding her, but she doesn't. It doesn't really end up how he thought. It was interesting to see him learning all of his powers and them doing those tests and everything. He's got the hyper speed and all that. That was funny when Freddy lit him on fire in that one box. But since he's a kid, he's still messing around, and when he was messing around, he ended up hitting a bus, and he had to end up catching it, but Freddy got mad at him there. So he's like trying to learn throughout the movie about how to be a hero. I like that in the movie they have some of like the real things where they're like 100 yards away from each other, and the one guy is doing this dramatic villain speech, and then Shazam, and on the other side is like, I can't hear you. I mean, you're way far away, man. So I like that they involved that kind of stuff, because I mean, so, like in the Man of Steel when Zod is talking to Kal-El when he's way up on the building, I kind of understand because Kal-El has like super hearing, so that's kind of, but that part was pretty funny. It's some of the like real life stuff, and then at the end, they eventually all get the powers, and they have to end up facing the guy, and it's like the 7 deadly sins, or I probably got that way wrong, but that was kind of part of it. It definitely still has some silly parts in it. Not as much as the second one. Like the newer movies, they kind of have those, like some characters or the moments, or most of the movie it's just ridiculous stuff that happens. And this one, it's kind of dialed down a little bit. I mean, Billy's still, when he's Shazam, he's still a little bit over the top, but it's not as bad as the second one, I think. Okay, the next one up, we got number 8. We got Birds of Prey. We got Harley Quinn. I've only watched this twice. I watched it once when it came out, and another time like a few weeks ago. I like Harley Quinn definitely more than the Joker. I don't really like the Joker or Batman, but Harley in this one, actually she was pretty impressive. She's a pretty good fighter. She gets like a hyena. You kind of get her story about her breakup with the Joker and how she handles it. And she gets this group of girls that end up fighting this one guy. The villain, I definitely didn't remember who he was. I still don't really remember who he is. He has some sort of mask. A few silly parts where Harley, she had like roller skates, and she's on like the motorcycle going like 6 miles an hour, and I wonder if that's kind of a little bit silly. I wonder if the roller skates might go out on her. Maybe. It's not my type of movie, really. I like the more like destructive, like a Superman or a Flash. She's just got her bat, and she's got like her hyena, and she's more of a hand-to-hand type person. Nothing too cringy, or I mean, Harley, she's Harley Quinn, of course. All right, now we're about halfway done. We got Next on Licks. It's kind of like Shazam, but not. Anti-hero, we got Black Adam. Now, I kind of was excited to see this movie, to see Dr. Fate, and he did not disappoint. I think he was still my favorite part of the movie. I mean, Black Adam was still good. The Rock was really good. I like the whole anti-hero, and he's not afraid to kill people, and he's kind of, along the way, he kind of works with them, and he tries to dial it down, the killing part, which I didn't really want him to like totally switch over and be a total good guy and not do that. I kind of like that part where he's still kind of a bad guy, but he still does good things. Get the villain at the end. He turns into like this big CGI guy, and they have the big fight. I like the new suit he gets. Of course, we get like Atom Smasher in there, and I don't remember the other one there, but definitely Dr. Fate was my favorite. The helmet was perfect. The suit was awesome. Definitely some funny parts in the movie. How he's never goes in the doorway. The Hawkman, he was a total surprise. I did not expect him to be like going toe to toe with Black Adam. They were both taking shots at each other. He was crazy, had crazy durability. I did not expect him to be that much of a competition for Black Adam. I mean, Black Adam still was definitely more powerful. He had the speed and everything. He had his lightning. We got Adam Smasher. He's just I don't remember what the actor's name is, but he's just like a silly kid, and he's constantly like at the wrong place. Definitely have to watch it again. Definitely worth a watch. The more down the list we go, the more of the movies I would watch again and again. These are the more. I know some people didn't really care for Black Adam, but I think it was alright. The villain could have been a little bit better. Kind of don't see him until like the very end where they have the big fight. Some of the characters I didn't really care for, like the mother. I thought she was kind of, I don't really know what the word is. I mean, the boy, he was trying it. He like believed in Black Adam that he could be a good guy and we could get him on our side and he could do good things, and it was just really energetic kid. Of course, we got that little spoiler at the very end with Superman and Black Adam, which I'm sure that's not gonna result to anything. I mean, it's a cool little thing. We finally get to see Henry Cavill again, but I don't know what's gonna happen with him and with Superman. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's whatever. Okay, the next down the list we got number 6. This one I didn't really know where to put in it. I liked it. Some parts were good, but we get Aquaman. I like the whole ocean setting and the Sylvan rivalry, and he has to take over the crown because his brother wants to wage war on the surface world. I mean, he kind of has some good points, but they need the entire journey of him and those flashbacks with the Willem Dafoe's his characters. I don't remember his name, but we get the whole story of his mother, and she has to give it. She has Arthur, but then she has to escape, and we think she's dead the entire time, but she ended up being in this one place. That one part where they were in the sea, and those creatures attacking, that part was really, really scary. Just like complete darkness in the ocean, but then went to like the flares, there's thousands of these creatures, and they had to escape them. It would be kind of cool to have Aquaman's powers. I mean, definitely not there's definitely there's better powers you can have, but being able to breathe underwater and you can see underwater and you can swim pretty fast. That'd be kind of cool. Explore the ocean a little bit. Might get a little boring, but I mean, he's got like the super strength. That big fight with the armies are facing each other, and the King Orm, he's fighting all these people, and then Aquaman, he gets the big Kraken one to join the fight, and then that totally wreaks havoc and destroys all those ships, and then King Orm and Aquaman, they have to fight in his territory up on the surface on that one submarine, and Arthur ends up besting him. He's got the kind of the comic accurate suit a little bit, and he's got that golden trident, so he looked pretty cool. Finally, we made it to the top 5. These movies I could talk with anyone, and I could go on for hours talk about them. It's kind of hard to place. Number 5, we got Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is way better than the original Justice League. Definitely way longer though. That's kind of the downside of the movie a little bit. Definitely more slow parts. You take away a lot of the slow motion shots, you might drop the movie down like half an hour. But the characters are definitely better in this one. The Flash is definitely better. That's one of the big reasons. His scenes are a lot cooler, running scenes. Victor Stone, we got Cyborg. His story is a lot better. I like his story with his dad, and get more of his backstory, everything. We got Superman, Batman, they're there. I like the introduction of Darkseid. and his role in the movie, and how we keep getting snippets of like the future to come, and how Darkseid comes and he wrecks everything. He got Superman on his side. He ends up killing Lois. Steppenwolf, he's a way bigger improvement than the original one. His armor is awesome. His motivations are kind of a little bit the same, but he's trying to get back on Darkseid's good side and go back to his home. He's trying to conquer these planets. He ends up finding the anti-life equation on Earth. Everything resides on Earth, but now we have no Green Lanterns, and the Kryptonian is gone. So now the Mother Box has called upon Steppenwolf to come and get the Earth ready for Darkseid to end up showing up. Destroyed, definitely a lot better. We got like 7 parts to it, including an epilogue. The end fight scene is like way different. Original one, even though like the lighting is different. I like that it's not the red skies and everything. Of course, like the Flash. That's one reason why I like this one way better. He's not this scared guy who's constantly tripping on himself. That one end scene where he stops time and he has to rewind it and he has to fix everything. That was amazing scene. Kind of, if he wasn't there, the Earth would have been in big trouble. And it was kind of awesome. He's kind of almost the only one who could have reversed that. So that scene was awesome. He having to go faster than the speed of light. And then of course when Superman shows up, then it's pretty much game over for Steppenwolf. He doesn't have a chance, and Darkseid isn't able to come over. But now that he has the anti-life equation and he remembers that Earth is the one who sent him home, he's gonna end up showing up. So that's gonna, hopefully we be able to see that, and maybe the future we could end up changing that, and we could end up saving Lois because she's the key to Superman. If she dies, then he's gonna turn evil, and that's gonna be a big problem. But I don't know, the Flash movie, if Barry ends up getting a Kryptonian weapon, he might be able to stand a chance against them. He's definitely at the speed advantage. We know that. I'm a big Flash fan, so I'm gonna, obviously Superman he's be a big issue for all these. And of course, if Batman finds some kryptonite, he'd be able to have a better time dealing with him. The only downside of this movie for me is it's just pretty long to sit through. I watched it a couple days ago, and I was like sitting through those parts where, I mean, it's definitely has some slow scenes and some random scenes where people just end up singing, or slow motions, but some of the slow motions made sense. One of them ends up playing Batman again, how Darkseid came to Earth long ago, and the Amazons and the Atlanteans and the man had to come together. Even the gods and people from outer space had the Green Lanterns. They had to come and they had to stop Darkseid from taking over and getting the anti-life equation. And they end up staying home. Darkseid somehow forgets that Earth is the one who sent him home. Coming down below that, we got number 4. We got Man of Steel. I like this movie so much because General Zod is just such a great villain. He even ends up showing up in the Flash movie just because he's such a great villain. The Kryptonians are such a huge threat and everything. I like Clark's story, and I like the beginning of the movie where Krypton is dying, and Jor-El, he ends up stealing the Codex and sending Clark to Earth. So we got his whole story and how he's handling his powers. The whole, when Zod ends up coming to Earth and he puts out his message on all the TVs and phones and everything, that'd be such a scary thing to happen if we're just in the middle of the night and all the TVs just get taken over and it just says you are not alone. That's such a creepy thing. And they're calling out to Cal and how the Earth has been harboring this one fugitive from a different planet this entire time, and Clark has just been saving people, and he's kind of a mystery to everyone. He has false identities, and so people just don't know that this guy is out there. And the end fight scene between Zod and Superman, just Metropolis is just wasted at this point. All because Kryptonian ships and everything is just so much more advanced than our military. We had like no hope. We see like the other Kryptonians, like that big guy. He's just constantly, he's just taking down jets. He's launching trains. And just really lucky that Superman was able to be there and he was able to take on all of these people. Faora, she's awesome in this movie. I mean, Lois, she's also, I like Lois Lane in this one, especially the actress who plays this one. She's really good. This movie I could watch again and again. The movies from like number 6 down the 1 I could watch anytime. So Man of Steel just has that, I don't know, a special place like in these DC movies for me. Nothing really wrong about this. There's nothing too cringy. CGI isn't really bad. All the actors are really great. You got the villain is great, the story and everything. I don't really have much else to say about it. I mean, it's just such a solid movie. Nothing really bad about it that I can think of. I'm sure people will think of some things, but definitely when I think about a DC movie, if someone asks me what's one of my favorite DC movies, Man of Steel is definitely going to pop up in my head. Okay, now we got number 3. We got might be surprising to some people. You might have thought that I would put this at number 1, but not quite yet. Maybe a few more watch throughs, but we got The Flash. The Flash, all right. It's pretty great to see the Flash's powers be shown in such a greater magnitude. I mean, he was able to go against the Kryptonians. They were able to handle themselves, and eventually the younger Barry, was able to take on Faora and kill her in a matter of seconds. But it was great to see the phasing, the hand. We got the Flashpoint stories, always awesome to go through. I mean, him traveling back in time and saving his mom, and then creating a new timeline. I mean, just so crazy of how one simple choice can affect everything. Some parts that end up holding this movie back, of course, is the CGI and some of that goofiness that just ends up. And at some points, I was just rolling my eyes and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Some of those scenes I just couldn't take seriously, and it was kind of worrying me in the beginning of the movie. Then it did end up growing on me. Supergirl was awesome. I like the actress in there. We got the Kryptonians. They end up coming back, and Zod comes back, and he's so great in this movie. He ends up being such a problem and ends up killing Supergirl again and again. And Old Barry realizing that he has to let go of his mom's death, and that's makes it a part of him. And he has to go, and he fixes that. And of course, he gets his dad out of prison. We get Iris. She's in there. It's okay. You know how I feel about Iris. I won't get into that much. The Flash's suit in this movie I like in some spots. I mean, when it lights up or when he's running, I think it looks really good. But when he's standing still and it's not lighting up, it just looks pretty weird. I mean, Ezra Miller, he does okay. I'm still a little upset that we didn't get any Grant cameo or any other Flash. I mean, just those cameos are just mainly Superman or Supergirl, something like that. And we got like Nicolas Cage, that one's in there. But it's definitely good to see that this Barry isn't held back by the story, and he's not effortlessly getting backhanded by someone who doesn't have speed or anything. He's able to hand himself against the Kryptonians. Younger Barry's ends up turning into Dark Flash, and he's still trying to figure out how to fix this, and he's so close, but the future Barry just keeps on messing it up for them. So he ends up being another part. It would be great if they could make another one, and they could have Reverse Flash, and they could explain Nora's death a little bit more, and Barry having to face the Reverse Flash. I feel like that'd be a good movie. If they do that, I wonder who they could cast as him. But that would be a great movie. I would end up definitely watching that. I know the Flash didn't end up being that great in the box office. There's definitely a lot of reasons to why that happened. Okay, so we're nearing the end here. We got number 2. We got the Suicide Squad 2021. This is a lot different than the previous one. Way different characters, way different story, villain, but it's so great. Bloodsport is awesome. Peacemaker, John Cena, his show was just the best. But it was great to see him in there. King Shark, he was awesome. It's just a silly character, but when he gets down to business, that's pretty terrifying to see. Like, Harley Quinn's pretty great. Rick Flag, he ends up getting killed. I like him in there. We got the Thinker, he's in there. I don't remember what the one star is named. We get the same story of they have implants in their necks, and Amanda Waller is constantly telling them that she's gonna blow it up, and then she ends up almost blowing up everyone, but then she gets knocked out. And I was cheering on Amanda Waller. I don't like her at all in these movies. She definitely deserved that. We got like Polka Dot Man. I knew nothing about him. His power is kind of interesting. How he constantly sees like his mom. It's just so weird, but it's just so much better than the original Suicide Squad. It's pretty funny. I like Peacemaker. He's great. Okay, now we've come to an end. If you haven't guessed, number 1 on my list, we got Wonder Woman. Now this movie is just definitely, if you ask me what my favorite DC movie, that this is definitely the one I would end up saying. Is this great? I like seeing the Amazons, and I knew nothing about where they live and everything, and how it's just completely cut off from everywhere. It's cool to see like a little it's cool to see like a little history lesson on what happened with Ares and everything. Now he ends up being the villain of the story. I like how she exits out of where she's been living for all these years. She's in this new world, and she's so confused by everything. I like how when she enters the war, she ends up changing the tides for everybody, and when she crosses that no man's land, that was a great scene where she's stopping the bullets. It kind of reminds me of the Captain America First Avenger a little bit, where he ends up coming on the scene. He turns the tide of the war for the Americans. Nothing bad to say about this movie at all. I liked Ares. I liked the end fight scene, and then Steve Trevor ends up pulling Steve Rogers and sacrifice himself in a plane to blow up a bomb. That kind of brings a toll on Diana for a long time. And then we even see in the 1984 movie she's still pretty sad about his death and everything. I bet you guys probably didn't expect the number 1 to be Wonder Woman. You probably thought the Flash would be, but I definitely didn't change my mind on this. This is definitely still on top of there. It's definitely interesting to see what other DC movies are to come. Hopefully they're good and people go end up seeing them. DC and Marvel is still kind of, they have up and downs. Hopefully they have a string of movies that people are happy about, and DC can finally get back on track and everything. Anyway, if you like this video, I know it's kind of all over the place. I don't have any notes to take. It's all kind of on the top of my head. If you have any comments about what your list are, if you guys have the same number 1 as I do and the same last place as I do, it would be interesting to see what you guys think about it. Definitely fun video to make. Maybe I could end up doing a Marvel one. I know there's a way more movies, and I would have a definitely harder time if picking my number 1 is solid, but in between is definitely I don't know where I would put these. But I could end up making a movie list of Marvel if you guys want that, or Transformers. I could do that. That would be an interesting one. A lot shorter list. My number 1 you guys would probably be surprised about, and you'd probably disagree with me about. Anyway, if you like this video, go ahead, you can comment, like, subscribe if you want. Definitely definitely looking forward to make some new ones. Hopefully this video ends up doing good. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching. I'll see all you guys later.